As a man, you have a penis. And all you have to do is stick your penis into a woman and you're good. But what I promise you is that if you learn game theory, there'll be 3 major benefits to you as a student. This is again suicidal. This will lead to the death of humanity. This semester, we are going to analyze a question together, which is, how do societies behave? Why do we do what we do? What motivates us? What drives us? And there have been different theories as to what drives human behavior. Okay, so let's go over some theories. The first theory comes to us from religion. And the idea is that we are all driven in a war between good and evil. There's a good side to us and there is an evil side to us. There's Satan and there's God. And we are constantly in a battle in ourselves. Okay? Do we move towards Satan or do we move towards God? And that's the core of human civilization. So religion is meant to give us the strength to show us the path towards goodness. Okay? That's one theory. Another theory comes to us from biology. Okay? And the idea is sex. We want to pass on our genes forward because that's the point of our existence. If we cannot have children, we all die. So the point of our existence is to have children and have them pass on their genes to others, okay? And for males and females, life is different because as a man, you have a penis. And all you have to do is stick your penis into a woman and you're good, okay? That's all you have to do. So you want to stick your penis in as many women as possible. And that's the point of your existence. But as a woman, your life is different because it's hard to give birth. It takes 9 months to incubate the child in your womb. And then childbirth is the most painful experience anyone will ever experience. And then the child, it'll take like 16, 18 years to raise a child to maturity. So it's a huge investment on your part. So as a female, you have to be very cautious, very careful about who you marry or who you have sex with, okay? And so life is a struggle between men who want to put their penis into anything and women who want to be careful about who they marry, okay? So that's the idea of biology. Then of course you have the idea of race and culture. That the world is a struggle between these different races and cultures for dominance. And each race, each culture has their own characteristics. Okay, so maybe the yellow race, they're very clever, but they're very weak. And then the white race are brave, but kind of stupid. And the black people anyway, that's another theory. I'm not saying it's correct, I'm just saying it's a theory that people believe in. Then you have economics, right? And what they believe is that we are driven by money or self-interest. We want to make as much money as possible, and that's what drives us, okay? That's pretty simple. And the last big theory is the idea of liberalism. That comes from the Enlightenment. And here the theory is that history is a progress towards enlightenment, to rationality, to truth and to justice. So the inevitability of history, of human development, is towards paradise, towards heaven. And maybe, we go off track now and then, but inevitably, we move towards God. Okay, and this comes to us from the Enlightenment. We call this liberalism. Okay, so these are 5 theories. There are others, but these are 5 theories that show you the diversity, the variety of ideas out there. What I will do this semester is present to you another theory, which I call game theory. And my argument to you is that game theory is the best way to understand how humans behave. What drives nations, what drives societies, what drives humans, okay? So that's my argument to you this semester. So the entire semester, we will study game theory. All right, so what is game theory? All right, game theory is very simple. The idea is that there are 3 components to a game, just 3 aspects to a game. There are the players, the participants, okay? Then there are the rules or the constraints. In mathematics, we would call this the boundary conditions, okay? The limits to the game. And the third aspect are the incentives. Basically, how do you win this game? What do you get from this game? And my argument to you this semester is that if you study all 3, okay? If you figure out who the players are, if you understand the rules, if you understand the incentives, then you understand how the game works, and then therefore you can predict how the game will turn out. Okay, that's the skill that I want to teach you this semester. And what I want to show you, or what I promise you, is that if you learn game theory, there'll be 3 major benefits to you as a student. All right, so this is all very abstract. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use an example of a game to show you how game theory works, okay? All right, so let's use a really simple game, okay? Let's imagine there are 5 boys and 5 girls, and they want to get married, okay? So these are the players, and what we're going to do is we're going to divide them up into male and female. Then what we're going to do is we will rank the males and the females. Okay, so we're going to rank 10 players into 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? And so how do we rank them? Well, we rank them according to their attractiveness using 3 criteria. The first is genes. The second is wealth. And the third is status. Okay, so genes is very simple. It means that you're good looking. It means you're tall. It means you're healthy. You will live a long time, okay? Genes is pretty simple to understand. Wealth just means that you or your family have a lot of money. Status means that you have a lot of friends. You have a high status job. You come from a really powerful family, okay? So these are the 3 criteria that we can use to judge a person's attractiveness. And then what we can do is rank them from 5 to 1. 5 means really the best. 1 means the worst, okay? And we can rank all 10 according to these metrics. So according to biology, what we call evolutionary biology or evolution psychology, we're always trying to find the best genes to procreate because this ensures that our genes pass on. Okay? So remember that men have a penis which they can stick into anything. Women have to give birth, so their strategies are different, okay? So basically number 5 is trying to have sex with all 5 women, right? That's his strategy. No, but female number 5 wants to ensure that she only gets 5. Okay? So these are different strategies. And if this, according to evolutionary psychology, all 5 of these females should try to procreate with number 5, okay? But we know you can't do this. It's suicidal. Why is it suicidal? Because the human race couldn't survive, right? It'd be idiotic to do something like this, where all 5 women are just trying to marry this one guy, and maybe him, okay? But these 3 are eliminated. Because then your society would collapse. You couldn't have that many children. So this can't possibly be true, right? So let's figure out what should happen. Okay. All right. So let's think about this rationally, or from an economics perspective. All right. So again, number 5, he's trying to maximize the game. So he's trying to sleep with all 5 women, okay? The problem if he does that is these 5 know they're all being played. And they recognize that this guy is probably an asshole. So 5, the best woman is like, you know what? There's not much of a difference between 4 and 5, so I'll just go marry this guy, right? So number 4 is gone. And number 4 is like, you know what? 5 is probably making a good decision, so I'll just go marry number 3, right? And then what happens now is that 5, by trying to marry all the women, is stuck with the worst choice, right? So that's kind of stupid for him. He's stuck with number 1. But guess what? If any of these guys try this crap, the same thing happens to him, where 4 is like, you know what, I can't get 5, but I'll try to get 4 and 3 together. And then 3 is like, screw you, I'm gonna go and marry 2, 4 is gonna marry 3, okay? Then he's stuck with 1 as well, or he's just alone. So if they try to individually maximize their outcome, they all get screwed in the end. So the only way out of this is that they cooperate, okay? And the best way to cooperate is basically 5 is like, you know what, screw this, I'm not gonna go after 4 or 3, I'll just have number 5, okay? Right? 4 is like, yeah, I'll just go marry 4. No dating, no games, I'll just go marry 4. And 3 marries 3, 2 marries 2, and 1 marries 1, okay? And the world now is perfect. Everyone has a husband and a wife, and they can now just have children, and the world is perfect. And this is actually the best strategy for all the players, right? We call this, the word in game theory we use for this is called the Nash equilibrium. Okay, Nash equilibrium just means that you always reach a state in which all the players maximize their outcome, the Nash equilibrium. And so the world makes sense now. There's a problem with this though. And the problem is, in real life, no one does this, okay? In real life, no one actually follows this rule. Nash equilibrium is just a theory we made up. But in real life, this is not what happens. What happens in real life is we choose to be suicidal, okay? So let me tell you about a game I played. So last year I was teaching this class and I asked the boys and I asked the girls, pretend you are now 30 years old, right? Your parents are pestering you to get married and you've been on the dating market for 10 years. There's really no one that you think is perfect for you. You have basically given up on love. Imagine that you want to get married now and tell me what is the minimum requirement you need in order to agree to marry someone else? Okay, what's the minimum, okay? And then I have the boys and the girls write down a response. The boys were pretty simple, right? Well, you know, as long as she likes me and as long as I can put my penis into her, I'm good, okay? It's that simple, okay? It really is. Guys are like, yeah, I'll settle for anything. That's the boys, right? Girls were different. Girls were like, okay, if I don't love him, if I'm not even attracted to him, I need about $1 million a month.
Really? Oh my god.
Yep, I need about $1 million.
Last class.
Last semester. Okay, all right, so this makes no sense, right? So in theory, we should follow the natural equilibrium. But in real life, what happens is this. All the girls want this one guy. Okay, and maybe number 4. They'll settle for number 4. But 3, 2, 1, they don't want. And we know because just look at the world around you. Look at these billionaires, right? Like Elon Musk. How many wives does he have? How many children does he have? Right? All the women in the world, many, not all, but many, just want to marry actors like Brad Pitt. Billionaires like Elon Musk. Right? And 3, 2, and 1, what do? Well, they watch Netflix, they watch porn, they play video games. They've given up on life, okay? They're like, we don't care. We call these people incels, right? Involuntary celibates, because basically they've given up on life and life has given up on them. So this entire competition is between number 5 and 4 for all the women in the world. And this is, again, suicidal. This will lead to the death of humanity.